Gotta go to Reading.
Ooh, 110 down there today.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
And Smoky.
All right. Well, it's gonna be 106 here, so it's not much of a relief, you know?
Her cell phone service is working.
I bet so.
Okay, well, welcome, everybody. Thank
Yeah,
you
yeah.
for, those of us that have showed up today for the meeting. I know it's the week right after a big 4th of July, celebration, and people may be out and about. But we'll do a little round of intros for posterity. Kelly Sheen, Executive Director of Trinity County Resource Conservation District and co-facilitator for the Trinity County Collaborative Group.
Jim Spear, co-facilitator for the Trinity County Collaborative Group.
Pat Frostless, Trinity Center Community Services District.
Carol Fall, Trinity's County Collaborative, I guess, mostly.
All right, Tara Jones, let's see, go Hayfork, Yola Bola, Weaverville, Big Bar, Ranger Districts.
Is there an acronym for that? You probably don't want to know what it is, all right?
Make it into something.
Yeah. Okay.
Laura Broadhead, BLM Reading Acting Field Manager.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Oh,
Welcome, Laura.
Let's get some stuff done.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's Jennifer? Jen detail too.
she is covering for our district manager, who is covering for our state director, who is covering for our deputy director.
Musical chairs. That sounds familiar. Huh?
Yep, all without any official details, pay, compensation, or even recorded time and grade. So love that for us.
Wow.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I'm sure it's even worse for y'all.
About the same, I think. Our forest soup is the proud forest soup of not one, but two forest soup.
Oh.
So she's been covering the Plumas for a while now.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Thank you, Kelly.
Then
So we are going to officially kick off our meeting here. Any questions on the agenda, additions, subtractions, edits? Good with the agenda?
Yep.
Okay. Collective memory minutes of May 9, anything in there that we need to correct or?
Nope, look good.
Oh, good.
sorry they came out a little on the late side. We lost track of that particular one, and Marla had to jam to get them done yesterday. So
Yeah, no, they
glad
look,
that she was able to squeeze it in, unless we could get them out.
they look good.
Good.
Very good. Moving on. We did have one follow-up item, Tara, and I think this is probably in your court, but you recall the conversation, about the recreation opportunity guides and kind of the discussion about maybe they need to be updated. So just want to give you an opportunity. I suspect.
I wanted to make a correction there. So I was calling them ROGs. What I was actually talking about was the recreation facility guides. So there's one for the forest as a whole. It's like a table. And it was last updated in 2019. And then in addition to that, there is individual guides. This is what I was really saying is helpful. So it's a Trinity Unit camping guide. And so last time it was updated, it was 2023. And what it has on it is for the Trinity Unit, all the campgrounds, and then it has like the actual dates, specific dates that it's open. That's what people look for rather than a week before Memorial Day. Well, what day is that?
Mhm.
So that's kind
You're
of,
saying that's on the
This would
website?
be right.
yes, that's on the website. It's out of date, but that I pulled that off.
And that's 23 though, huh?
Yeah, and that's what I was
Oh.
thinking. How
He's not
come?
impressed that it was 23.
Yeah. That was a little surprise. Yeah, even Tara's smiling, thinking, wow, that's not too bad.
That used to come out every year and it was on the web, it is on the website. It's like I said, I just pulled that off yesterday. And you can click on it and it gives more information exactly about the campgrounds around here.
Yep.
So if there's a way to
This is
get
super helpful.
that.
This is not a rod, so this.
No,
helped me a lot,
no, I
because
was
like,
calling it, that's
I
why
didn't
I,
working on it.
no, I apologize.
No,
That's,
it's okay.
there's a facility guide, which is forest wide, so it's got,
It's got everybody in here, yeah.
yeah, it's got all the Shasta Lake stuff and everything, and that's not as useful as as this one.
Is it representing, which may not be, since I think this is fairly, now we have some campgrounds where there's reservations available.
Yeah, it tells you on there.
It does, cool.
If you can make reservations, it tells you if it has a flush toilet or a pit toilet, it tells you if you have electricity. So that's why and when it's open, that's why I always thought that was.
This is helpful because it's even this, because they were calling it the Trinity unit. This is specific to just the NRA.
Oh, okay.
So that's like another subgroup of a subgroup, because I was
Yeah,
looking
I
at
mean,
like I
if
don't
you
have.
go to that recreation page, there's individual ones for, Cape Fork, and all that stuff. I didn't pull those. This is the one we used to hand out at the visitor center. Or more, because by the time you get to the visitor center, you don't need to know. We would, send people the link. If they were calling and asking us what campgrounds are around, we'd say, here's the link. So that's, and then the other thing is, so I mentioned this last time, there's no map.
Oh, that's right, you want to just have a map. I got a
I
great.
mean, all the other Forest Service websites, if you click on recreation, a map comes up and it shows you, here's the hiking trailheads, here's the campgrounds, and you can zoom in and all that stuff. And so I just don't know why Shasta Trinity doesn't have, because the campgrounds are listed in alphabetical order.
Right, I remember you said this on the call, and you'd rather have them by general locations, people kind of know,
Well,
and then have it tied back to the map, and then it makes more sense.
Well, you could have them listed by alphabetical order, but if they're listed in the Mount Shasta district and then they're listed in the Southern Trinity, and then, if they're listed in the different districts, you gotta know, I wanna go camping up around the lake, which district is the lake? You don't know.
No, I understand.
It's just hard to figure out. And so I know the map is there, it used to be there. I just don't know why it went away. I know you guys did the update, you switch over.
There are a lot of
to the
weird things
website.
there are a lot of weird things happen on that update. That there are things on there, I'm like, we're not working on that. You probably pay more. Why is that even on there?
And there's a little, like the boating safety map, if you click on that, you get a failed to load thing and stuff, so, that I don't really worry about that little stuff. It's if you could get the map and if you could get the updated camping stuff, when stuff opens and closes, that would be awesome.
And this is something we typically update in, I'm gonna guess, like April.
Yeah.
Annually.
Yeah. I can't think. Yeah. Who's the PIO person? Can't remember her name.
We used to have Ruth, we have Erica.
Ruth Esperance.
She's gone.
Oh, never mind then.
We just,
Because I said that's the last person who I knew was working on it.
that's part of I think part of our problems, we've got some turnover, so, but, I got somebody that can get on this for us.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
And I apologize for calling them ROGs when they're not ROGs.
That's okay, I mean, as it turns out, I need to make sure our ROG updates were so. That's fine. Okay, I got that on my to-do. There,
Right, anything else on that one?
No, sir.
Okay, so I think you're up next, yeah, Trinity Center Marina and Boat Ramp. Carol, you
Yeah,
have
so,
this one on there?
yeah. It used to be kind of straightforward when the marina operator was the same person who operated the parking lot. Right, that you'd buy your,
The boat ramp and parking lot.
yeah, you'd buy a marina slip and that would include parking passes. And the marina was the one responsible for collecting fees for parking. But now it's bifurcated. There's the marina operation and Shasta Rec, which is now Vista, right? Is doing
I
the
believe so.
parking lot. Okay, so part of the complaints I'm getting are related to people don't understand that now there's two different people. But
That means two different fees? Or two,
but be it two different people collecting, enforcing stuff.
oh,
So what happens is, okay, so one of the issues, there's a bunch of issues. One of them is somebody pays the marina concessionaire for the boat slip. Historically, they would get 2 parking passes. Little hanger things that you could move from vehicle to vehicle, right? Now when you get your marina slip, you get 2 parking passes, but you have to specify license plate and registration and all that stuff for vehicle. So if you bring a different vehicle down, then like we have 3 vehicles, like I said, I still got my old truck. If I bring a vehicle down that's not listed on my parking pass, my 2 vehicles listed on my parking pass, I get a ticket.
Right, that's similar to how the park runs, right? Same thing with Whiskeytown, when you buy a Whiskeytown pass, you gotta say which vehicle you're gonna be in, but I get what you're saying.
So, well, but like we have the season passes that admit you to parks, and you just move that around with the little hanger thingy.
yep. The park service, right?
The park
When you
service.
sign up for that, don't you have to tie it to a vehicle? Cause I
No.
usually haven't.
Oh, and I think it's just for seniors though, right?
If you
Well,
do
or
it
I have-
online, you have to put your vehicle number in. That's how they do it.
okay.
But if you get the
Oh.
actual physical pass, so that the senior pass or the America the Beautiful like physical
Yeah.
pass, then you can move it vehicle to vehicle. But they recently changed that so you can only have 1 signature on it instead of 2.
Yeah, so like we have our passes and you have to show your driver's license to show you're the person that matches the pass and all that kind of stuff, but we've used way different vehicles. With the passes, so I guess that's part of what confuses people, yeah,
I'm thinking, so I'm just quiet, 'cause I'm thinking, so I get this scenario, like, yeah, I got 3 vehicles. And I also imagine the flip side of that is I gave it to my cousin, who gave it to his friend, who gave it to their friend, who gave it to their friend. I'm imagining that's what they're trying to prevent, but, maybe if you could at least get more than 2 vehicles on there, so I understand what you're describing as a problem, why that would be confusing. But.
yeah, because it's just what people are used to. I mean, people sent me pictures of the little hanger that they used to have, which was fairly recent. The one that they sent me was 2020. So that's what they're used to, is I get these little hangers, I put them on my, whatever I drove down to pick my boat up, because my boat's already there, right?
Right, no, I understand.
Okay, so that's one issue. Then there's the so I'm not sure I understand this totally, but so someone buys a parking pass from Shasta Rec, right? They display that pass on their vehicle. If they don't have a pass, Shasta Rec drives around and leaves a notice on their vehicle that says, you don't have a pass, it's $13 a day, you owe us $26, 2 days worth. It's not necessarily enforceable, but people view it as a ticket. So I'm curious, do you know how they, like if somebody doesn't pay, how do they enforce it, all that kind of stuff?
No, but I can find out.
Because what's happening is some people, and the parking lot gets full. So then people park on the county road coming in.
Mhm.
So they're pulling.
I've seen that.
Some of them are just cheapskates, some of them, there's no place to park, right?
Mhm.
So now Shasta Rec or Vista is going up and putting these ticket notices on vehicles that are on county right away. So people are really pissed about that. do they have that
Authority.
authority?
This is the Shasta Call, I can just totally picture this on Shasta College, like I'm parking on the road out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Having to
Yeah,
get a parking permit. I gotcha. So authority on county road,
And then,
question mark, citations. Authority. Okay,
and then the other thing is, so there's a new sign, well, there used to be a fee area sign that, was pretty clear, this is a fee area, now it just says day use area. So, I don't know what happened to the fee areas, well, I think the fee area sign went away when they redid the parking lot. But that might be a good thing to put back up,
the which sign?
fee area. I know that you have that going into campgrounds and stuff.
The area sign isn't up anymore.
So then when you do get to the sign, there's like a daily parking fee of $13. And then there's a large vessel parking fee, $20. Everybody's going,
Hmm.
what's a large vessel? parking fee? So maybe if you can,
Is that advertised? I mean, the large parking or large restaurant?
sign, yeah.
Is it at every launch, like Clark Springs and Stewart's Wharf?
No, it's-
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm only
it's the Trinity Center.
$20
No, I got,
to park a large vessel.
But only at Trinity Center is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Why?
I think because maybe that's the DBOW grant. I don't know. I'm just totally guessing.
Oh, that's odd. 'Cause I've never seen it and I launch it.
well, do you have a large vessel, buddy? Come on.
It's 18 feet large. I don't know. That's.
Need to find that.
Could be large to somebody.
Yeah, so the sign, welcome to Trinity Center Boat Ramp. All guests must register, day use $13 per vehicle per day. Okay, everybody knows that.
Yep.
But I guess somebody got these large vessel tickets.
Oh, wow. They actually
This is
ticketed
like-
somebody for it. Wow.
Ask them how big their boat is.
How would they know how? They're out on our.
Maybe it's an RV.
Boat or something. It says large vessel.
A vessel.
Huh.
So anyway, they asked me to find out.
Can you, shoot me that, picture, to my.
But I'm assuming the trailer's empty. I mean, how would they know what size it is?
Yeah.
Maybe they go by the trailer size? I don't know.
It's gonna be about how many spots in the parking lot you're taking up, right?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Makes sense. If they're,
But,
But again, I understood one of the, no, never mind. People are,
Oh.
they're throwing stuff at me. It's hard to, and they don't know what they're talking about sometimes. I don't know.
I can't relate, Carol, to people throwing stuff at me. Okay, so I got the fees are, it's not clear what they're charging, who they're charging, or why they're charging. I got the day use sign needs to be up that says, or sorry, the fee area sign needs to be up. It's not up now. I got the citations are an issue. And then I got the parking pass, 2 vehicles versus a household. That's what I'm tracking so far.
Yeah, that's it. So if we can get those kind of answers, I might even
are you
maybe,
capturing your volunteer hours, Carol?
yeah, you're right.
It sounds like you're doing a lot of legwork here.
It's the classic. I go to the post office and everything.
You just get hammered. Yeah.
Just, because I go in the store and I'm just like waiting, like, what is that? Yeah.
A chair and a little a table.
Just wear sunglasses and a hat.
But yeah, I mean, if I have a better grip on what stuff, then I can start telling people, okay, so here's the deal. Yeah.
So, it complicates it because there wasn't a marina in Trinity Center for a number of years. They never didn't install it. So people are getting used to that again, just as something new. And right after they redid the parking lot and the boat ramp, we went into a drought. So there weren't as many people using things.
Well,
And so it's all this is coming together. It's the perfect year.
the bigger complication is that boat ramp was put in using public money from, and Lynn Scott, essentially deeding the land and stuff. I don't know what he did, but anyway, Lynn Scott somehow was involved with putting the boat ramp in. So there was never a charge to use the boat ramp or to park. But then when the Forest Service got the grant from DBOW to totally revamp the parking lot, put in the restrooms, all that kind of stuff, then they started charging to park. So everybody's like, "Woof, we gotta pay to park." So there's that whole, I keep saying, it's okay, they did this nice facility, you gotta pay to park, just buy a annual parking pass, blah, blah, blah. It's good for all the other places in the lake, that Shasta Rec owns, which is not all the parking places. So anyway, it's a whole nother issue. So we're trying to get past that, but there's still a lot of old timers like, what do you mean I gotta pay to park? So anyway, that to me is a big complication.
Yeah, because it's kind of the baseline of where they're starting from. They
Yeah.
don't, one.
Until they all die off, you're gonna.
Okay. Okay,
All right, we good with that one? Karen?
Yes, thank you.
So we have had someone else join us. Monique, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, Monique, apologies for being late. I'm covering the front desk over here, but I'm the Forest
Okay.
Partnership Coordinator. Our front desk gal is at a wedding, so covering for her. So that's why I'm not there in person.
Why the map behind you looks familiar.
Yeah.
look at that topography.
Isn't that
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that map.
Oops, that for-
This should just be my new
Trinity Lake.
background.
Nice, yeah,
There you go.
cool, all right. All right,
Thanks.
welcome, Monique. Okay, up next, BLM, Laura. You have an update for us?
Hi, y'all.
Okay.
What
Hi.
do I got here? Just like general pulse check on federal agencies. I guess pulse check on what we're doing here. Things have been stable for a few months, which is good, but are likely gonna get a little less stable here as the Supreme Court is allowing the reduction in force processes to proceed. So again, I don't think that will affect the field, but it emotionally affects us and is also I personally am increasingly feeling the strain of trying to figure out how to cover all the admin tasks that are getting dropped on me, all the other field manager tasks, all the recreation tasks that I normally do, big demand for timber and for realty and all this stuff. So anyways, just always like to provide that pulse check that I know I am feeling strained by people having left, and more people are going to leave, whether they want to or not, in the near future. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at emotionally. So thank you for hearing me. Okay, on to actual recreation stuff. Campgrounds are open, seems to be going good. We mentioned before it happened, but we switched Douglas City to half reservations on rec.gov, and that I think has been going really well for us. So as we kind of look towards next year, we're thinking like maybe we do it all reservations. So I would be curious about this group's kind of thoughts on that. We could do all reservations. We could do like 2 sites as walk-in. We could still keep it half and half. I don't know. I'm just always interested to hear how people feel about the reservations and stuff like that. And then as for Steel Bridge and Junction City campgrounds, you know, we talked about maybe doing half and half there, or keeping Steel Bridge all walk-in, Junction maybe half and half. Anyways, these are all thoughts we're thinking about. So just, we don't need to have the discussion or answer here today, but would be curious on people's thoughts now or later. The next thing, Trinity River cleanup. Kelly sent out that flyer. It's July 19th, and will be kind of on the top BLM section this year. So we're excited about that. I know they're planning away on that. And then the other big recreation thing we have going on is our fishing guide renewal season. So those 100 permits we issue, it's a big workload every year to get the fishing guides to respond is really the issue. But we have to get their post use and their payments and their insurance for next year and all of that. So that's a big workload for both our admin staff and our park rangers and ORPs to get that all finished up by the end of August, when the fishing really starts. And then I guess the other thing, so the TRRP folks are, I think, currently paused, but we'll start maybe mid-month back again at the Upper Connor Creek Restoration Project there by the Junction City Campground. And part of that includes they'll be doing the in-water work and then finishing up the recreation site. So there'll be a parking area, vault toilet, table, kiosk, and a like double boat ramp. So yeah, we're excited about that. Yeah, that's all I got. End of report, unless there's questions.
Thank you, Laura.
Just to circle back on the reservations thing, is Tannery like 100% online reservations, or are there any walk-ins at any of the I guess, how's that work on the Forest Service side currently?
Are you talking Tannery in particular, or just?
I'm asking about Tannery because it seemed to me like that one's almost exclusively, or can be filled just all online, but I don't know that for certain because I don't utilize that system myself.
They really want you to book and prepay online.
They do.
Yeah.
But do they?
In fact, they will, well, when you get there, if you don't have a reservation, they will ask you to do it online.
Oh.
Which is tough because they don't have very good cell service. But because I'm not sure that the host has a way to collect money.
And is that the only campground that basically does that, or all the other ones have some level of walk-in available?
Yes, that's my understanding. Monique, in my Alma field, most of our campgrounds have an ability to do a walk-in. They're not exclusively by reservation, correct?
Look at the thing I gave you.
If you check my homework, though. This will be a lot. I might be feeling picked on. It's like, oh, here's my thing. Oh, here, Tara. What about you?
That's what I'm saying.
Background, so I can ask questions.
I think you should be wearing your volunteer vest here, Carol.
I'm wondering, I'm only
We're getting paid for it.
because wondering like what people that come here are used to. Like, is it, if we're talking about the potential of going, you know, like especially Douglas City Campground, to going exclusively as reservations only, like, is that something that, I know that a lot of local people that use the BLM Douglas City Campground as a walk-in campground and actually as like a day use area.
Right.
Yeah.
Boating for rafting
And for rafting, but also for like parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Got a one area that's not really a campground,
Yeah.
kind of more like a day use area. And, you know, that's something that a lot of people locally know it to be. So I just would wonder if I don't know, from my perspective, I would wonder if that's going to be well received, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why we kind of started with just half to like, you know, kind of allow both things. Our kind of hope is that the locals, like, because we have locals who like, yeah, want to have their family reunion there every year. And they always ask like, hey, can I like reserve a site? Or they'll like go early in the week and like pay for a bunch of sites and like leave crap there to like reserve it. And so maybe like, yeah, they're using it as day use, but they're planning ahead too. It's not like they're like, oh, let's go have a barbecue down at Douglas City today, like spur of the moment. Like it's more, my impression is that it's more people who like are planning to have, even if they're local, they're planning to have a thing down there, which, you know, maybe is a benefit for them too. We're definitely seeing, I don't want to say better, but less problematic use down there with the reservations. Like we're getting people from the outside staying there, and it just like makes the vibe not as like you can drive around at 2 a.m. selling whatever you're selling kind of vibe, which is nice for everyone except those people, I guess.
Is there a host there at Douglas City this year?
Yeah, we have a host, and he's, I think, pretty good this year, which is also helping.
Yeah.
Obviously, we struggle depending on the quality of the host or their personality. So yeah, I hear you, Kelly, and that's, yeah, we also like posted a notice in the Douglas City store hoping that like locals might see it, that like, hey, we could make reservations here. So we can, and we see where like the reservations can come, like the town they're from, I think. So maybe I can like do a little data investigating to see like how many maybe like local people are using the reservation versus out of towners. Yeah.
Maybe it takes a couple of years of half and half
Yeah.
to kind of collect enough data to have it make sense.
Okay.
I think so. And
Okay.
Those hot showers are definitely a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish we never put them in. They cause so many problems. But it's great for people who use them. For me, they're annoying.
All right. Any other questions for Laura? Not seeing any. Thank you, Laura.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Okay, Tara, since we do not have Six Rivers representation today, I think you are up.
All right. Okay. All right. So, as you're likely aware, we had, at least 15 fires, from the lightning that came through. They were, stretched across Trinity County, had, I think, 7, what's now 8, actually 9 if you count the Miller fire, on the Hayfork Yola side. And then we had at least another, I think, 6, maybe even 7 on this side. The biggest fires that we had on this side were the Horse and the Helena fire. The Helena fire was in the wilderness. The Horse fire was actually in Shasta County, just across the line of kind of where all of our districts come together. So why is this important to this group? Because our logistics team is comprised of our rec staff. So when we have fires, everybody kind of puts on their fire hat and we all support recreation. So Mike was, Cliff was on a team. Cliff was in Canada. But Mike was our logs chief, and he had his folks running around delivering lunches, delivering supplies, supporting the fire efforts. So I wanted to, and I know smoke impacts are always a deterrent to recreation, so that's how I'm tying it in, but I just want you to know that that's what our folks are out doing. So they were doing that for the last week and a half or so since we got that lightning storm in. From a rec standpoint, I was happy with Mike and Ken. We didn't have any engines that we put in the parade because they were out putting out fires, but it was nice to have the pack stock stream go through. So I was really happy with him doing that. Okay. They have been, the staff has been really fantastic since we I don't know if inherited is the right word, it's just we took over the management of the lake, both of them. They started off with, they worked on Lakeview quite a bit, got all those Scotch Broom out, Fairview, thank you.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time doing work in there. Then they've been over doing some stuff in Pine Cove, and then, you couldn't even find the, little day use, non-motorized boat launching area where you're supposed to like launch your kayaks on Lewiston Lake. And they've really worked really hard in that one to get it, nice, so they've been spending a lot of time over there. The next thing up, according to Mike, stand by when I got my glasses on. He's off today because he hadn't had a day off in forever, so I apologize that he couldn't be here, and that Monique is covering the front desk. So this is kind of, you got stuck with me. And it's been great so far, so that's okay. Let's see, where do you say they were going next? Trails, developed, they're taking on hazard trees in next, no, not that one. I think it might have been Pine. Oh, Clark Springs hazard trees are gonna be our next thing. It's not, Mike's, as soon as Cliff is back, and he's one of our fallers, so they'll start taking on hazard trees at Clark Springs.
That in the campground primarily?
Yeah. Yep. So our packers have been, they went up to Oregon and helped some folks out up there. They also spent a week on the Modoc. Thrilled to tell you, for wilderness patrols, we've actually been very fortunate, had a lot of volunteers. So we had wilderness patrol people out at every major trailhead out in the forest over the weekend. So that's been fantastic. They were a number of interactions, obviously, over the holiday weekend. So we were thrilled that our wilderness patrol, our volunteer wilderness patrol program is up and running and strong. So that was really good. Mike was on June 20th through the 25th. He was at a trail symposium at Mount Shasta. So we had some R5 Trails folks there, as well as International Mountain Bike Association and Mountain Bike and Trail Solutions crews were there trying to figure out how to. It was just a good training, a good opportunity to network, and then they were actually doing some work. So that was good. So Mike and some of his folks were over there. Let's see. Stony Point is still closed. And you're probably aware that that's a water issue and it involves the highway. So maybe if we made a tunnel for the bikes and fixed the pipe at the same time, we could figure that out. Anyway, so that's a challenge, but that's the only one that's closed. Our folks are working hard to. So they would start their day early in the morning. They would go run lunches, run supplies, then they would go maintain their regular duties and maintain the bathrooms and do all those things. And then by the evening, they were out running supplies again. So those folks have been working really hard for us, and I'm super happy with them. We're just starting to get our trails plan of action kind of together. You know, we wanted to, first step in with the Trinity and Lewiston Lakes was to get the facilities, address the hazard trees, get the brush feedback, address the fuels problems, get them cleaned up what we have. And then Mike and his folks will start looking at what's going to be our priorities for the trails. I feel bad Ross isn't here. Where we're gonna start, what we want to do, and how we want to get it done. So we're still looking at that, what our priorities are and opportunities to get that work done. Let's see, what else did I tell you? I think that's everything that Mike gave me. Backcountry crew is at Low Gap near Grizzly Lake. And I think that was it for his update as far as that goes. Trail. I was trying to work the RCD a bit to take a look, even though it's really not just part of our collaboration, is helping out with the Weaverville wetlands down there. I guess we're starting to look at it. There used to be a trail system down there by the industrial park. I'm like, where's the industrial park? I'm gonna get to know Weaverville a little better. But anyways, he said finally people are starting to look at that again. It used to be a really nice opportunity for education and things. And so he wanted to highlight that he's happy people are starting to look at that again, and we're happy to do our part.
Who was that?
Mike McFadden.
Mike. Yeah, I think there's been some discussion. We're trying to figure out kind of how to work around the easement, because it's kind of like think NRCS holds the easement,
NRCS, yeah, Jim can,
county land.
yeah, county owns the land.
Yeah, county owns the land, it's an NRCS easement, and then, like so it's kind of, nobody fully takes responsibility for it, and obviously we were involved in it pretty early on, so we've been looking for funding to begin to work on that, but there's been some of the options that we've had are kind of like, well, you can't, do, restoration through for the sake of neglect or whatever, so there's been some hiccups with that too, but that's good. I mean,
Yeah, so we're happy to help out and just be part of the solution.
cool.
And then Bowerman is active, so the parts of the Bowerman fuel break that were not commercial, SPI has had crews out there, a lot of that piling is done. And then the commercial or the bigger material, that work is underway as well. That's part of the SPI fuel break, so that material.
Generated, I mean, that looks really good. I mean, I pictures, but
Write that down, hold on a second, I'm gonna write that. Here goes the-
That was really good.
I told Tab to just drive out there because, I mean, those guys were, I mean, they're private crews, I guess they've hired, but they're really working hard on some really steep ground and it really does look good. So, they're big piles, so that's why I wanted to show Pat what's I think a 6x6.
So the Bowerman project included the Preacher Meadow
Yeah.
campground, right?
Oh,
So that'll be part of the commercial? Okay.
Yep. So, the really cool thing about Bowerman and BLM, CAL FIRE, SPA, Trinity River Lumber, Forest Service, I'm probably forgetting somebody. So that all those land manager kind of people, so they identified that project and then the Watershed Center did the planning piece of a third party NEPA. And then SPI came in with this money and they're gonna expedite the implementation piece of it. And then industry will help us get the rest of it sold and get that commercial part cleaned up. In the meantime, and SPI is doing some of this non-commercial stuff. Meantime, the RCD went out and competed for a grant from CAL FIRE, and they're gonna do some of the fuels work out on that project as well. So you just really have that whole shared stewardship in a nutshell on that Bowerman project. And, that is helping us get things done more quickly, for sure. So
Yeah.
that's a great, I love going out to that project.
And you see after part, it's gonna be like, whoa, that looks good.
Yeah, and I think they'll be done with, SPI will be done with the part that they're doing relatively quickly, because I still have to get all that. sold.
Yeah.
I know, sold, go figure. So I've told others on our field trip, but you were both on the field trip, so, I haven't told you, Jim. Just know that the Forest Service is gonna do the right work in the right place for the right reasons, and, like, no matter, even given what, is expected of the agency, we still have the tools available in the plan, that's gonna get us where we need to go, meet expectations, kind of on both sides, so. And we're super happy with the white paper, that the collaborative group as a whole came up with, and, it's nice to look at a project through a common lens, that's making it a little bit better.
So when do you think that, because Bowerman also had, this is more forestry than rec, but the little parcels next to the subdivision?
You're gonna ask me about those, I was like.
Well, either I would or Carol would have.
Yeah, no, I think that's
Some of the pressure off of Carol.
likely be our staff. We have a fuels crew.
Okay.
So for the stuff right in town, I'll probably just have us do that.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'll make it.
but you just, always good to look, if you can give us heads up, then we can give the neighborhood heads up.
Yeah, okay.
So kind of back to a little bit of recreation. So Bowerman is gonna pick up Preacher Meadow as part of the commercial stuff.
I
Okay,
believe so. I
okay.
don't have Cody with me, but that's my understanding.
And then the Jackass Springs Campground, that's being picked up under Trinity Camps, right? The
Yeah,
Jack-
that's under that
Jack
NEPA, and we're
project.
looking to potentially sell that this year. I've got the land surveyor meeting Rosemary out there to look at her property. And look at that property line and make sure we're all on the same page. Apparently, that particular property line is complicated because the main point that they start from is in the lake. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that. We have a survey up here, and I think we're gonna meet with the landowner out there on that particular piece of line. I'm thinking it's gonna be July 23rd, but I've had a few conversations with her.
So are there other campground, because we talked about other campgrounds that could be picked up under Trinity Camps that aren't part of the initial four. Let's go slow on those. So I know Jackass Springs is one of the, okay, we can do that one.
Yep,
So, so scheduling wise, you guys are doing the NEPA. Oh, it's already done.
no, the NEPA's done, so we're gonna offer Jack timber sale this year.
Timber sale.
And so remember when I say, so just to be clear, when I say year for us, we're talking before September 30th.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when they're like, what'd you do this year, Tara? And I have to have my stuff.
Not the calendar.
Yeah.
Besides Jackass Springs, are there other campgrounds that you're thinking timber sales?
We're trying to be strategic with the North Trinity County project as well. So some of the campgrounds might be kind of marginal on their own, but if we put them in with something that's going on with North Trinity County and end up one sale, that might make sense. Do you have a priority that you want to just?
No, I was curious about the hazard trees at Clark Springs, but I guess the
Those we're cutting and dealing with just under maintenance.
hazard,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
So would that be a area where the Lions might want to get a crack at
Firewood,
people firewood?
I don't know, I got a question from Skylar about the Hobel Dump firewood. But I think Hobel Dump is all pine. But the hazard trees at Clark Springs might be a firewood option. Well, you would normally just drop those anyway, right?
Yeah, we usually just drop them and then, depending on where they are, we try to buck them up and clean them up a bit. So yeah, I'll talk to Cliff and Mike.
Yeah, if you guys wanna have help getting rid of them, once you drop them, I can always,
We can,
if that's okay.
Get
Tell
the
people
lo-
come down and get a firewood permit, right?
That should work.
And then the KOA, so KOA looks way better. Thank you, all you guys. See, 2 compliments in a row.
Highlighting them, Carol.
yeah, highlighter.
That's- Way better. I'm even getting the way in there, not
Yeah.
better, but way better.
Cause the tent areas were were just totally full over the 4th of July holiday weekend. So not just the big RVs, but so they were spreading out into a lot of the tent areas. It looked like they had a lot fewer where the logging had been done. I think KOA is still rebuilding some of those. But people were out there and I was out there beforehand and a couple weeks ago, saw your crew doing a line around some of those piles. So thank you for that, because we did have kids with big bonfires on 4th of July, had to get I mean, I don't know where they were getting the material from, but we were playing cat and mouse. Every time they would throw big stuff on, I'd turn the lights on and run the siren, and then they would kind of douse it, and then I would turn the lights off and leave and then come back, and then they would throw more stuff on. Yeah.
Wow.
And they were out at KOA. So it was just kind of like the rather. But that kind of happens every year. That was kind of worried about a lot of fuel sitting there.
No, I went out and looked at it. I've been out there twice myself. I've talked to the public there myself. I think I talked to some campers and I also, right now we're going somewhere and somebody had called and they weren't happy and they came by the office. And so I was, hey, I'm just gonna talk to these people while we're driving. It's fine. He's like, okay. So I talked to them while we were going to Tahoe for a couple days and I told them, and it's not a typical mark, you know, that is not how we would manage the forest, but we never just, oh, this tree's too tall, is not how we determine which trees have to go. So, there are definitely some lessons learned in that, that particular area. And I talked to the timber sale contracting officer, and it was, things were done according to the contract, and things were done according to the NEPA. There were just some things that would have made it, look better. And if had we remembered, hey, we're in town, we could have just done it a little bit differently. There's some tricks of the trade. And so, it's definitely was a teachable moment and, you know, I went out and looked at it, you know, what did we miss? Well, in the NEPA, we said, we're gonna spread the slash up the slip to address the erosion and compaction. And I'm standing out there going, can't get any flatter than this particular piece of ground. We're not gonna get any erosion. So, and so I've been talking to the new soils person, like, I don't think we should be in the business of taking slash and spread it in the slip. You know, if it's just, we're trying to solve fuels problems, not.
Spread them around. Yeah.
So, but our previous soils person, that was one of the things that Browns, you can probably remember, we had to take the slash and put it back out. The slip is where all the skid trails come together at the back of the landing. So I was like, yep, we need to move past that. So it was definitely, I think we all took some time to go out and review it and learn a few things.
Great.
And then I had unintended consequence. I'm like, Mike, you know, and they're all out there cleaning. And I go to the landing. I'm like, I know there's 15 more piles, you know, piled all over this landing. I'm just like, you know, it's a gift that keeps giving. But the use of the KOA folks, we had tied with them a few times. They were very pleased with the efforts and appreciated that we got out there and got after it. So. And then I had one other win. Some guy was flying over and said, you left 2 more trees that are too tall. And I think I heard from Jill and Rick, and 2 hours later, I talked to Tim and the trees were down. So
Yeah, all
they
right.
were down fast. So at least the overall. Forest soup, I did see, I think they're gonna try to fill the Plymouth forest soup, which would be nice to get ours back full time. We are down a deputy forest supervisor. She took a job in Washington to be closer to her dad.
Mm.
Is that Carrie?
Yeah, man, just such an awesome story of, you know, being in the military, a lieutenant colonel in the military and chief of staff and all this stuff. Like, so wonder you're so organized, you know, and I had to learn some of her skills. It's not my strength. I'm a seat of my pants girl. She's like, did you drive the route for the field trip? I'm like, it's about this long. Did you drive? Okay. So certainly left. Happy to get, Rachel was over on the side, went and looked at a few things. We were up, went to the campground or to the marina, because I said, if you sit on that bench right there, your phone will work. And so she's like, okay, good to know. So we did a sweep through and checked out some things, up north there, and the chief was there and stopped by and talked to me about a few things. So it was good.
Good. Yeah, he was very optimistic after he talked to you. So that's a whole nother issue.
Yep.
Okay, well, you're not off the hook yet. Minersville.
Minersville, they needed. I don't know if we told you this last time, we have a project manager assigned to it. And it's Marcus Nova. Yeah, Marcus Nova
Okay.
is in charge of that project because it can't be the thing that we're like, oh, did we check on this? Did we check on this? So he is like laser focused. We had Ben on the Ironside camera and Marcus is on Minersville and that DBOW agreement and moving all those things forward.
Awesome.
See the SO there?
Yeah, he was part of the landscape and then now he works out of the SO under Kelly. Except that
We-
I think that's when, I'll double check with Court. I had her out at High and Palm yesterday, so I'll sure for them to make sure the loggers will be back and we'll get out as soon as they get the work done in the campground. We'll go out and review it, see how we think it looks, and then we'll
Right.
move on to the next one. Yeah, so I am happy about that. It's really great to see some proactive work getting done, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, what I was gonna say is, you know, so we're gonna do our 5-year program of work. We haven't changed course to meet the latest whatever, because the course we're on is going to meet those needs. It's going to produce timber. It's gonna reduce the risk to our communities, because that's where we focus to start with. It's gonna continue to provide us opportunities for shared stewardship with our tribal partners, with our local partners. Probably the only thing I need to do next is I need to get with I need CAL FIRE and trees stay there, and so I want them to be at the table, figure out what they're looking for. And then also, you know, when we get to implementing prescribed fire along a highway, they're gonna need to, you know, we're gonna need to know what their comfort level is and where they're at. So that's probably.
What's the outlook with regard to funding over the next 3 to 5 years under, you know, obviously a different kind of administrative?
Well, so the one thing that we started a couple of years ago was to develop a program that was less vulnerable to ups and downs, right? Ups and downs, up and down. So like we invested with the Watershed Center on pilot. This is not an internal insight. I think wasn't it like 4,000 positions have been locked out of Forest Service as a whole. So I think that I will tell you that I've heard firsthand from the chief that he's trying to return decision-making and staffing to the local level in the Forest Services district and forest. So that has been, you know, good news, because, you know, it's a way to get things done faster. And you all are aware that some of our NEPA regulations are changing and those things. Those are all things happening outside my control, but my plan is we'll still go out and look at what we're gonna do. We'll still talk about what we're gonna do. We'll still, you know, have a shared stewardship approach. I'm not going back to make decisions in the corner office with the door shut and the curtains drawn, and we're gonna do what we've been.
It's a little bit contradictory.
No, so what you're saying, if that's the contract Doge piece, like
Yes.
our contracts had to be, and our agreements were being reviewed by Doge, and that was, they were popping through every organization and every department. And they were in the Forest Service and might still be, you know, I think the last time we met. Our agreements, I guess, are atypical. Most organizations don't have agreements for the dollar amounts that we have, and then we're like, oh, here's some more millions of dollars. We'll just modify it and put some more in there. That's not typical, I guess, across the government writ large. So I think there is, from the actual contractual tool
very closely with Forest in particular, but other things like CWDG, for example, which is also USDA, is taking forever, although we just got some level of recognition for the fact that that's probably going to go through. The PUD has been dropped. So that 10 million is gone. But
Oh, that
ours is
money that they got for working on the power line is gone.
gone. Where ours is moving through, we're fairly certain that that's going to happen. But as far as our partnership, like we just haven't been, RAC's not been happening, so we haven't had as much activity with GNA. The last stewardship modification was the last thing that we had with the forest. Cooperative agreement with NRCS and things like that have gone through, but they're just taking forever.
Well, we did just get a road maintenance agreement through. I think that's through. Do you know what part of the process that's in, or is it just entered into the system?
We're still working on that. That's just now getting into GNA. That's the most recent thing that we've actually put.
So I'll let you know. And then we'll probably be chatting because I just got some good news on Joint Chiefs,
Oh,
like a late night message. So
fantastic.
yeah, so some of that is coming through.
That would be great.
Cool.
I think, yeah, we'll need to talk a little bit about, I just talked with my roads. About that. And obviously we're working out there doing forestry support and things of that, and fisheries, I think, too. So.
Yeah, Big Ranch is coming along. I'm happy with that.
So then kind of back to Bowerman. So do you know any info on where we're at with that contract
Which contract?
to hire the engineer to do the foundation work?
So Bowerman Barn.
Yep, sorry.
That's all right.
Barn.
Bowerman Barn, that is.
Next thing on the agenda.
I'm sorry.
Huh? This next item on the
Yeah.
agenda.
I apologize.
Ahead, yep.
That is a Pete Schmidt topic, and he is, as you can imagine.
I think Nick was saying that, it was resubmitted, but it was having to go through this extra review to spend funds, which are RAC funds. So no, I don't know where that, as far as hiring the contractor.
Okay, so yeah, I'll check in with Pete, and there were definitely some delays. I mean, everything just kind of going through another level. Started, I think what I heard was, gosh, it'd be a 4-hour hike in from the lake with no way to get anybody out if something happens. So that it takes a while to get a plan, put together for fire that's remote, that is that remote. And so the forest, to their credit, said, well, we can catch horse and Helena. Let's make sure we're doing that. Don't strip this to go work on that. Let's get a good plan. So it's just more complicated. People, and there's always the Forest Service didn't get on it right away. There are definitely some safety concerns when it's not like it's dozer ground. It's not like there's a road there or any of those other things. So it's very complicated ground up there. So
city got limited resources, so, yes.
Yeah, and then we got lots of stuff in and we're very fortunate, our hot shots haven't gotten out of here yet. The Trinity hot shots were, like, we were so glad we had them and we put them on the Miller Fire, and then they're like, okay, we're up and we're available nationally, and they're like, oh, look at this. So we split them out to all the lightning fires, and so it's been great to have some staff.
We had the granite fire, you know,
Yeah.
up Long Canyon, people were stressing about that, so, yeah, so that was good,
We used jumpers, heli repellers,
yeah.
hot shots, our fuels crew, the cover engines. I was very happy with our response to what is the name of that camp? It's like has an E on the end, and it's a
Oh, Louise.
that's the one.
Yeah.
There was a fire up there, and the folks were. I don't know, I guess it'd be people tucked in up there that particular weekend, but there were.
Mhm, yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you that big picture fire update, and I think we're doing all right.
Very good. We're on partner updates. Pat, anything on the,
Not really. I guess we heard recently that the North Lake NEPA project has about 5 acres of
5 miles.
5 miles of the trails that we were, had proposed, the higher priority stuff, so that's moving along.
okay,
And I think, so the Watershed Center is working on, Sierra Nevada Conservancy grant to do some implementation.
Recreation, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that,
Not due until late this year.
yeah.
look like
So-
December, yeah.
So Josh Smith asked to have that on next month's,
Right, September's agenda.
right, to talk, because he would like to sort of throw some ideas and then
Yeah.
get some feedback from this group about how to proceed with that. I know that there's also some coordination, but I think it's more on the forestry end of things between the Watershed Center and the RCD and the Forest Service about just generally work in the North Lake area and
Yeah.
coordinating more of that. That includes Bowerman Ridge and some other, and some of the work that, some of the forest health funding that we've got and all that stuff. So that meeting unfortunately is scheduled for the same time as our collaborative meeting next week. So there's gonna be some crossover, that meeting's really from like 9:30 to 11 or something like that.
That meeting include SPI,
I don't recall who's on that.
this,
I've been peripherally tracking,
okay,
Yeah, I see that one on there.
yeah. But I'm not sure if
okay.
it's in or not. I think it's more like the immediate partners and what we've got going, and
Yeah,
but I don't know, I'm not sure to what extent they were casting that net.
I'm so glad you mentioned that though, because do I have our meeting on Thursday? No, it's the Zoom thing doesn't go in here. Okay, ECCG. And we're going our normal 10 to 12
on Thursday.
on Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Third Thursday.
Kind of a difficult transition.
I know, and I had an email Kelly and asked like, is the rec committee meeting on? Is there Friday? I can't remember.
I'll take the grace and the pity. I was like, oh my gosh, I was here Friday, the day after. I said, I feel like something's wrong here. It's like, it was yesterday. And I wasn't even that day. I was like, no, I'm working Friday because I got a collaborative meeting. So anyway, I pretty much nailed that. I'll make sure that's it. What I need to do is figure out exactly whatever year our regular meeting or check-ins shows up on my calendar. And I don't know how, but I can never get the collaborative ones to do the same thing.
I don't have invites and people have asked me for that before, but it's because so many people don't utilize. So I guess I would need to do a subset of the important folks that are most.
It's a me problem, Kelly.
And then sending them directly to you. That's something I do.
No, it's I'll solve it. I typically will go out, and I had done that for the year, gone out to all those Fridays, and like. Put it
through the
in
whole year.
Yeah, And then I was like, oh, they're on Fridays.
That changed in March as a response to,
Jill's.
No,
request.
yep, and Jill had talked about it, are you okay with that? And I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. I also remember the discussion, I was like, oh, was that this month? I thought it was gonna be, it doesn't matter. I've got it on my calendar now.
Yeah.
Next Thursday.
Change is nothing.
Well, especially at my age anyway, and you do one little thing different and you get out of the rut and then it's like, oh, something new, and then all the little pieces have to go back in place, so. Okay, sorry to sidetrack us.
it's all right. I heard that Ascend was not available. Jack Lionheart, who would normally be representing TTA and Watershed Center, is also not available.
He's not with
He'll be there till mid-month next month.
Okay,
So this would have been his last meeting, but so they're not available. We got something from Thule, which I sent out yesterday from Nevada Conservancy, which
basically.
pretty much
grant
is
announcement.
about that grant. So we'll talk about that next month. And the one thing we have kind of shifted gears. We had focused a lot of attention on getting a lot of the mapping and stuff done in advance of the LaGrange Classic. So our trail mapping stuff is about wrapped up, although I need to get with Mike and ask him a couple questions and get a couple things done so that we can get the kiosks updated. And some of the actual handwork and stuff that was being done was, I was also working with him on getting some of those final things coordinated, because I think that RAC grant is about spent out. The other piece that I wanted to report out that we should probably talk about too is regarding, we had put in a proposal with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife for golden mussel identification and support and cleaning and some blah, 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 blah. They had an opportunity that apparently was just shy of $1 million. We didn't understand, we thought that might have been the cap for the ask. I guess there was no cap for the ask. So we asked for what ended up being the entire amount. And then they came back to us and said, well, that's too much. That would have covered cleaning facilities for all the 7 primary launching sites on the lake.
Oh, wow.
And, but they said, we can't do that. We've got a number of other asks that but they're still interested in funding it. So it's probably going to be 1 unit. And
Who is that? What's the source?
California Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Oh.
And so, but we did see through Mike Dixon, he had actually sent out another funding opportunity through BOR that had to do specifically with boating, aquatics, conservation, and a number of other things that may be an appropriate source for us to get additional funding to probably backfill what we were thinking, which was the intent would be, and I don't know how this is going to work, how it's actually, we kind of based it off of something that they're doing down at Lake Berryessa, which is far smaller lake and far more manageable as far as what launching sites and all that stuff than Trinity is. But anyways, we were kind of basing it off of that, which was to basically provide these essentially mobile washing stations for boats. And with the intent that if we're going to be serious about this, then, we probably need to have that at each of the resort and marina locations. And the funding through CDFW was basically just for the equipment and training personnel. And we figured that the only people that are going to be able to do that is, we don't know exactly if there's going to be some sort of requirement for marinas to take that on as part of okay, this is now your responsibility. Don't know anything about that. So this is something we probably need to coordinate about and talk about, because it looks like we'll get probably the 100,000 that they whittled us down to, which is 1 unit. But if we go after more, it's going to be we're not a regulatory agency. We, are not going to be able to provide staffing that can actually do either the assessments or the cleanings, et cetera, et cetera. So So we're trying to bring money to the table and help out with that end of things. With regard to like the actual equipment and stuff. But we've been trying to take it very seriously because, you know, according to them, it's gonna be a problem.
So is that something that would be, part of a amendment to the special use permit for the concessionaires, like at Trinity Center and Cedar Stock? People that run the marina?
And that might be, I mean, but that, so yes, I think the requirement by Fish and Game is that we have an education, like we're responsible for it, but it doesn't, it's very vague. So how we go about doing that, I think it's so new, we're still trying to work through what that's going to look like. And I know like our lake will have to be consistent, should be consistent with Shasta Lake and somewhat, I think Whiskey Town's, they're just a different agency. So, but I think that within the NRA, we want to make sure that Shasta Lake and.
Now, is the state collecting fees for that? Because on my boat, I got a muscle sticker for 2024, I think, that came with the registration.
I don't know
That
because.
suggests they're
because it-
collecting money from me for muscle
Because you could.
compliance or whatever, but yeah, it's right next to my, registration sticker on my boat. There's a muscle sticker.
So you get a sticker, but then you can go put that, the problem is if you put, from what I understand, which is
Move
limited.
from one lake to
Yeah,
another.
if you go south to one of those lakes, then you come back up here to our lake, the little,
Well, I didn't get the impression, because my boat's never been inspected. I got the impression that I paid for this.
somehow. Well,
That I'm required to pay for that, and if I'm caught on the lake and I don't have that sticker, then
that's a good.
I'm out of compliance, right? Because I didn't pay for it.
So there might be
Yeah,
money for
but
that.
Yes,
Well, I paid for it, but the sticker came with it, so I just slapped it on there.
but I think you do need an additional inspection.
For yeah, but this is not that. This was associated with the registration of my boat.
That you paid the money.
Yeah, and they gave me a sticker.
So what I'm hearing from you is I collected money from you, maybe there's some money available to help with.
That's what I'm thinking. Is there a pot of money out there through the state
Thought that,
to do the, inspection and
because my brother-in-law in Woodland got the certification for Berryessa. And he's got it's more of a zip tie kind of thing,
It's
It's
a
on-
lock on.
a lock on it,
That shows that he went through I had my boat out of the water, it was dried for 30 days, it was inspected, it was hot washed.
Only place you
steamed.
can
Like-
go to is
Yeah,
Berryessa.
Berryessa. If he goes anywhere else, they cut that off. He has to go through the whole procedure again.
Oh, wow.
wow. Oh, man.
I have no idea how to
Yep,
roll this.
just imagine if you were somebody that was gonna, want to go a couple different places with your family over the summer, you could go to one a month. You're like, I went
Yeah.
here, then I had to wait for it to
I
dry.
don't remember how much he.
I just learned,
It didn't cost
It
anything.
didn't cost anything.
I just learned like a month ago that I'm now required as a boat owner to go through some boater safety thing.
Yeah, you gotta get a license. Jim, you gotta get a license. It's online. You gotta take the test, the whole bit.
I did it.
You did it.
$85 later,
Well, if there's a way.
6 hours later, and I even paid $15 extra to get from the 6-hour course to the 2-hour course, and it still took me 6 hours. That was the most painful process I have ever gone through. And supposedly this was the expedited one because I paid my extra $15, I was like, wow, when is this thing ever gonna end? All this esoteric information I'm supposed to know that I'll forget 5 minutes after I finish this thing.
Totally understand.
Ow.
But yes, we'll work with you and figure out, how to come up with a plan.
Is there any official timeline that says, by this date, something has to happen?
It's so vague. Something has happened since the date, which was essentially we have to start an education plan. So,
Yeah, there's posters up
yeah,
and stuff.
so that's, it's very vague. It's not super spelled out. It's a very strange process. The whole thing is weird because there's so many multiple players from different agencies
Yeah.
that we just don't normally work with. I think it was the day after, I was like, oh, we get the lake, hooray, here's a mess for you. Hooray. I want to have spotted owls and golden.
Yeah.
Anadromous fish.
And anadromous fish. I did get to see my first spotted owl yesterday. That was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing awake during the day, but he must have thought we had a mouse, saw a white truck and thought he was gonna get a mouse.
Yeah.
Right, just so staring, I'm like, man, like, sorry, you guys are struggling, you're not super smart, but. I was supposed to during the day.
Okay.
And we moved it down the road a little bit to turn around and he like moved closer. I told him, "Hurry, we got the trucks, make sure it's not in the back seat." He was not afraid of us, that's for sure.
Lately, we've had so many mice in our vehicles. I think maybe they are associating people.
Maybe rightly so. Maybe we should get you signed up as a volunteer for the owl surveys, Carol.
There you go.
Mice, that's what they're looking for.
A rec specialist and Al. She can. Jack of all trades. Okay,
That was all I had,
okay.
so,
Well,
Agenda building, I know we got the Josh Smith SNC
yes,
item.
and
Anything?
we should dedicate a bit of time to that, I think.
yeah,
Yep.
you can do that.
We're working on some new floating toilets. I don't know if they're out yet or not. Do you know?
No, did you guys get the boat?
That's in the works as well. So we're supposed to be getting a boat because the boat we have, you could swim faster than the boat we have. From what I'm told. But it's yeah, we've got the boat. I think we've got the funds. I think it's been ordered. And so yeah, that'll be great. We're working on getting some more folks licensed, including
So the boat would facilitate.
Hauling the toilets around.
Okay.
That's the two jobs. It's the two jobs.
That's an important.
drive fire, and we need to be able to get across, or we're doing things on the lake. Those are the things. And we do, you're aware, we do eagle surveys on the lake.
Yeah.
So Carla and Mark were super excited. They got to start doing that. That was fun
Cool.
for 'em.
And boat in campsites, you gotta get.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get to clean.
Bunch of piles where Estrelita Marina used to be. Kind of on that point there, and they were just, it seemed like an odd place to be doing fuels.
It's the
That's part.
Trinity camps.
Oh, that is
Camps
Trinity.
also.
Yeah, it's.
So what's close to
It's the
campground, yeah.
peninsula around Ridgeville. They're doing from the lake up to the
Yeah.
private lands, but, yeah, we were trying to coordinate, emergency response in the lake, so the fire department with the sheriff's department and so Forest Service, but you guys don't.
We're just like janitors, and plus we're, you know.
You don't have a boat yet.
They didn't remove too much there.
No, yeah, it's dense in there.
Yes.
So we're good.
The,
There were search and rescue up in the Alps, up in the trails. There was one on PCT a couple days ago, and then there was a fly-in. When was that? Right before the 4th?
Right before the 4th.
Yeah, I had to fly somebody out.
there was only one other sort of thing that I wanted to inquire about, and Monique's not here, but I was gonna ask about RAC and if there was any movement or if that's just sort of been dropped for.
I've got to call into Jamie Green to ask the same question, what his people know, but my understanding is there was nothing in the big beautiful bill
For secure rural schools.
for secure rural schools.
It's kind of what I had thought.
They've still been holding out. Their concept is to sneak it in on the farm bill.
Is
Because the
that-
farm bill always gets approved.
But I mean, that's all well and good, but I mean, if we don't have a RAC. I mean, what's about the constitution of the RAC?
Yes, they can't start to reconstitute the RAC until there's a reauthorization. So there's gonna be this weird
Oh, boy.
gap time again. And then on top of that, probably, I don't know the date, but the RAC charters probably expire somewhere in also. So they've got to renew the charter. And then they've got to do the whole advertisement thing to get RAC members, again. Though a few times in the past, when they did reauthorizations of secure rural schools, Congress actually included in the law that any RAC member who wanted to be
Oh,
approved is approved,
that would have been helpful.
Hmm,
and that saved the 18 months to 2 years
To get
of
people
of
approved.
getting all the RAC people approved through the Washington office. Now, if the giving more authority locally kind of thing were to, include
That would be great.
FACA kind of groups, then that would certainly streamline the approval process.
Yeah, I can tell you, for what it's worth, I think I've had the district rangers, collectively, all of us, have had, I think, 2 different meetings with the chief. It's weird because it's like, it's not like a recording or we can actually do stuff like ask a question, put something in the chat. Because a lot of times we have those big, that
Yeah.
level, like your stuff's turned off and you're just like, oh, I'm just.
You're
watching.
listening.
It's like I'm watching a movie and we're listening to what he has to say. But he's been very engaged with the rangers and the forest supervisors, which is different.
Yeah,
Like what are our challenges on the ground and gosh, what, anyway.
but I think there's just gonna be, it's gonna be very cumbersome and slow.
For sure.
I mean, short of what I guess Josh is proposing, and I had actually sat with him and had a meeting with him for lunch for a couple of hours, and we were talking about the SNC opportunity. That's gonna be the only money that we'll probably end up seeing that will go towards rec from the partners for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so for summer camps and trail work and all that, without the-
Money may be an option just because.
what's that?
Some facilities money, because this president signed the Great American Outdoors Act. So I'm hoping that might, stay on his radar and continue to be an opportunity, but that doesn't get us to that level.
okay, just appreciate
Yeah, no, I-
hearing about that, because been putting a lot of effort into digging up that information and I hadn't really heard about what people are hearing locally, so.
But speaking of Jamie Green, I heard he was on the local news here recently. Are we hearing that the state is proposing to pull this funding on the high school track and field and all that, or is that?
I don't know. I hadn't
I
heard.
mean, McGuire, it's already underway, already doing
It
it.
is,
They're
but
making work.
that was what he was being interviewed for, is supposedly
And when
someone's
the budget was.
someone's trying to pull the money on him. Okay, well, we are officially on our agenda.
Cool.
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Anybody left? Zoom?
Okay. People are dropping out,
Yep.
it's, all the
All right.
flickering on and off.
For that particular piece of ground, then, somebody asked me questions about Johnson Park, where I used